Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report Part 2. Talked in our first video about first day of practice. Celtics not changing too much here, from the parking spots to the systems, terminology, and more. One thing that looks different here is no Robert Williams. Saw him walking around before practice, certainly months from playing at this point. Even getting back to basketball activities, 8 to 12 weeks they're expecting. I asked Joe Mazzulla about the difficulty of that here today, and he said it's not a difficulty. He said it's an opportunity for a lot of the young guys on this roster, and we saw Fiando Cabangeli out there getting three-point shots up, the two-way center that the Celtics brought in from Summer League. Noah Vonleh was looking big, ready to bruise in the paint and play center if he's going to make this team, and I think he has a pretty good shot at doing that given their depth at that 5 spot. And of course, the most important piece, spoke at Media Day yesterday, in that depth dynamic is Luke Kornet. Al Horford said this front court has to prove itself here early in camp. He emphasized that when I asked him about some of those younger guys who are trying to step in here. And Kornet might be the most ready. And in fact, today at practice, take this for what it's worth, he appeared alongside Smart, Brown, Tatum, and Horford in this starting side group that was getting up shots and going over some stuff with some assistant coaches. Kornet was the 5th among those starters in Rob's place. Now, we don't get to watch practice. We don't really see what the lineups were, but across the way, you had Grant and Malcolm with a bench group going over some pick and roll actions. So there's a game on Sunday against the Hornets, first preseason game. Remember last year, Juancho Hernan-Gomez started as sort of this experiment, see how it goes rotation-wise to bring out Horford off the bench. Didn't work. Ultimately, they went with Al and Rob. But one thing, if Joe's not going to change much here, a bench unit intact of White, Brogdon, Grant was the original plan for this team, you would think. If you take Rob out, we all assume Brogdon, Grant step into that spot. What if Luke Kornet shows himself able to keep Horford at the 4, keep that starting unit massive with a 7-2 center now, and quickly pivot to some smaller units with Grant, Malcolm, White, as planned, coming off the bench? It's a possibility. We haven't heard Joe Mazzulla talk about rotations yet. How could he? He just took over this job. In fact, Peyton Pritchard joked the other day that I haven't talked about my role with him at all. He just became the coach of this team. So those are in the early stages, you'd imagine, though it's a possibility for a team that played big to start last year and then went into smaller rotations as the game went on. I didn't even think about this possibility, and I'm one of the biggest Kornet fans there are. Of course, brought to you by calm.com/garden, 40% off a premium subscription, sleep sounds, meditations, yoga, and more. When you head over there, Athletic Greens, they're going to give you 5 free travel packs when you go to athleticgreens.com/garden, as well as that immune-boosting vitamin D, year's supply. You get the powder, of course, 75 vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, and more. Get a boost on your immune into this fall season. From Boston, outside Auerbach Center, there's been a practice edition of the Garden Report.